Hello chess family, it's me, National Master Jesse James, and today we're going over how to play the Accelerated Dragon from the black perspective. Here we're going over a particular variation I like to play, the A5 variation. Basically, you're going to push your queenside pawns to attack your opponent. In this game, we're going to see black doing that, and unfortunately for white, they did castle queenside, which against Accelerated Dragon is not the best. So, let's get to it. Here we go, we're going to go by move about what to play. Here, white plays pawn to e4, and here we go, pawn c5, we're in the Sicilian. White plays knight f3, getting ready to play pawn to d4, most likely for what's called the open Sicilian. And here we're going to play the Accelerated Dragon with pawn to g6. Now, why would you want to play the Accelerated Dragon? It's a very easy setup, it's very good for attacking, but also very solid for defense. One of the best openings I would recommend for new players playing chess, at least for the black perspective. Alright, white goes and plays pawn to d4. Like I said earlier, this is called the open Sicilian. They're trying to make a trade over here. And black here is pretty much forced to trade. There really is no other good move, so you must take. So c takes d4, knight takes d4, and then we play bishop g7. Basically, we made our little hut for the bishop, so the bishop comes out and attacks this knight over here. The knight comes over to c3, and now we're going to develop our knights next. But remember, always try to develop with the threat. So here we go, knight c6, attacking on d4. Now we have 2 attackers. They have only got 1 defender. White plays very logical in this game. This is against a 2300 rated opponent, so pretty logical, I'd say. Bishop comes to e3. It's best to keep your pieces in the center. So of course, white does not move the knight away, but simply develops another piece and defends it. What's the next piece we want to move? Our knight, of course. We need a castle as soon as possible. So knight f6 brings the knight out. Here, white plays bishop c4, a very good move. This stops black from playing one of his best strategies, which is to play pawn to d5. For instance, I'll go back real quick and show you what happens if white just plays the bishop to e2. Well, here, black can now get a very good game by playing pawn to d5. But before we go d5, we need to make sure we're castled. So castles, castles, and then d5 gets played. And why is this so good? Well, if they do not take, we will take. So most people will take here. The knight takes back. Some people will even take here. But either way, the idea here is that white has no more center pawns and black still does. So black holds a slight advantage at this point. And, well, black is going to be attacking queenside in this game in the Sicilian. So here the bishops are very nicely placed. And, well, again, black is just doing very well here. So why did white play bishop c4? Simply to stop pawn to d5. But there is one more trick here white must know. Of course, white knew this, and so after I castled, they played bishop e3. What's the trick here? Well, here, if they castle right away, now it's black to move and get a very good position. What do you play here? All right, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and give us that like and subscribe. Remember, liking this video is going to share this with more chess players. Do you know what the move is here? Here, I like to call it the knight trick or the fork trick. Here, we go ahead and play knight takes on e4, and again, black is much better. What happens if knight takes? Well, here, black goes d5, and again, we're going to have the only pawn in the center. And a lot of people here, to not lose the piece, will play bishop takes d5, queen takes, and now black will get the bishop pair. So black is, again, just much better here. And the other variation I'll show you real quick is sometimes they will spot knight takes e4, and they'll make this terrible move of bishop takes on f7, which is even worse. Why is this so much worse? Well, after rook takes on f7, now you have the rook on an open file, you have the bishop pair, and after knight takes on e4, now we're going to be able to play d5 and e5, and it is black who is easily in a much better position here. I don't know anybody who would want this position here as white. So back to the game. That's why white plays the bishop back to b3. Knight takes e4 will no longer work because d5 does not fork. All right, white to move. What do? Oh, I'm sorry. Black goes in and plays pawn to d6. And typically that's the question here for black is if you can play d5, go ahead and play it if you're not losing material because you're typically gonna be better if not equal. So, and if you can't, well, then you just play pawn d6 to let out your bishop. And here, white does not play the best idea. White's going to play pawn f3. Already with this move, they're telling me they're going to go queen d2 and castle queenside. Now, this is not a very good idea. Remember, a lot of times black is attacking on the queen side, and against Accelerated Dragon, this is not to be played. Black is supposed to be much better in these variations, and white did not last long in this one. So here's simple chess. We want to bring on our next piece, the bishop. That's why we move the pawn forward. And, well, Even easier, there's only one square for the bishop to move to. You're not going to h3, you're not going to g4, you're not going to f5, e6. There's already two attackers, so you'll just lose a pawn. Bishop simply comes to d7. Here, white plays queen d2, again saying those very aggressive tendencies. I'm going to castle queenside, and I'm going to push my h-pawn. I'm going to play bishop h6. I'm going to go for all-out attack, also known as the English attack. Because I know this, I'm going to go ahead and start my counterplay as soon as possible on the queen side. And so I go ahead and play pawn to a5. It's funny to me that the computer does not like this move. You can win lots of games with this. In fact, we're going to go over a very standard way to win a piece here very soon. And here, white misses the idea and plays castles. And this is a pretty strong idea because, well, if a master can miss it or a 2300 rated opponent can miss it, that means most other players can miss it here too. Now, believe it or not, one of the best moves to play against a5 is actually to play pawn to a4. But this is typically not a good move because do not move pawns in front of your king whenever you're castling, right? Well, a4 would do just that. So here, again, white just missed the idea and played castles. And now, well, I'm going to go and ask you guys, it is black to move. What do you play here? Simple chess. Continue with your idea. We play pawn to a4, keep pushing our pawn forward on the queen side. And here it's really hard, but white should actually play bishop c4, which I'm very happy with. After this move, you can play queen to a5, bring your rook over to c8. You can play your pawn to a3. There's lots of counterplay here. Black is already better. So what did white play instead? Here, white thinking this was a free pawn because, well, look, I have two attackers. I've only got one defender. They went ahead and took. It's a blunder. It is now black to move and win a piece. What do you play here? All right, hopefully you push pause and try to figure it out. The idea here is that the bishop wants to attack this knight, but if you do, but the knight's in the way. So what do you play? Simple chess, move the knight out the way, make a forced move, checks, captures threats. We go ahead and play knight takes on d4. And here there's no way to not lose a piece here. If you play bishop takes d4, which gets played in the game, we simply just take on a4, winning attack now or winning a piece. Somebody might be asking, what happens if queen takes? If queen takes, the queen is now defending the knight. And here is now defending the knight, right? Well, this is true. If you do try to take on a4, this will be okay, but you won't be winning a piece right away. Here the idea is remove the defender. And here, hopefully you see that the bishop is getting ready for a discovery attack. Did you find the move yet? Here we actually get to play the move of knight to g4, and now white is losing a piece. Notice now the knight is attacking the bishop, and the queen cannot defend the bishop and the knight over here on a4. Also, the queen is being attacked by the bishop. So let's just say, I don't know, the queen goes back to d2. We'll take on e3 first here. Queen takes, and then again we'll snack attack over here for the knight. So in the game, that's pretty much what happened. After knight takes on d4, bishop takes on a4, bishop takes, rook takes, and here we got a very nice winning attack. Here there was a nice tactic my opponent did miss. He went ahead and played king over to b1. And, well, it's black to move. There's always tactics in these games, especially when you're playing a dragon. And here it's all about the dark squares. Black to move. How do you win another pawn and also get into a very nice attacking game? It looks like everything's being defended, but the idea here is to play rook takes d4. But wait a second, doesn't queen just take? You're exactly right. We need to add that second attacker, which is the bishop. So what do you play? Here, remember, do not miss any tempos. Knight takes on e4. There's no time for the bishop to move as the knight is attacking the queen. And, well, there's no time to trade because, again, we're attacking the queen. So they went ahead and took. Rook takes on d4, a free tempo to attack the queen. Queen went over to e3, another bad move. Here the queen is unprotected, so black to move and develop with a threat. Here, hopefully, you see the idea. It's checkmate on b2. But who do you need to get there? The queen, of course. So here I developed with a threat with queen over to b6, threatening b2 checkmating ideas and defending the rook. One of the other ideas is I can play rook takes on d1 check and then win the queen over here with a nice discovery. Here, unfortunately, my opponent was just playing too fast here. He saw the threat of winning the queen and played queen e2 and then just immediately resigned. Black to move. What do you play here to win the game? All right, hopefully this doesn't take too long for you. Here you're just going to go ahead and play rook takes on d1 check. It doesn't matter which way that they take back. It's going to be queen takes on b2 for check and mate. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this. This was an easy tutorial on how to play the Accelerated Dragon from the black perspective. Just remember, go ahead and bring your bishop out first over here. Then bring out your knights. Get ready to castle as soon as possible. Then, whenever you can, try to play d5. If you can't, go ahead and just play your pawn to d6. Bring your bishop out, and I'm championing the idea of try a5, a4 to go for your queenside attack. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you in the next video.